Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we have a new vehicle to look at. It's a 2014 BMW 650i with the M Sport package. I'm borrowing this car from a very wealthy friend of mine who has a great car collection. So how's that for a plug? There you go, enjoy, it's the last. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so this is a beautiful car. This one, like I said, is a 2014. This is the third generation of 6 Series. They were available with many different engines, very many different configurations. Like I said, third generation. This is the F92. I could be wrong on that. If so, I'll change it in the edit. But anyway, I think this is a great improvement over the previous generation of BMW, at least, or I should say, great improvement over the previous generation 6 Series. I think this one looks great all around, especially in the coupe form. I was never a fan of the crisp angle stuff, and I think this really corrects a lot of it. I like the nice blacked out grille. I like the lower air dam or splitter. Beautiful LED headlamps on this car. Nice alloy wheels, 19 inches. There's cameras and sensors all over. Of course, it has the automatic rain sensing wipers. There's a heads-up display. Many different features. So just going back around, just everything looks beautiful. I love the little accent on the back of the trunk there. I think that looks great. This BMW emblem will actually flip up to reveal the backup camera, so that's kind of cool that it's hidden there. Nice exhaust tips here on the back. Absolutely beautiful. This vehicle does have keyless entry if I can get it to work for me. So you would touch right here for it to lock, and then on the back, there you go. I guess you have to pull on it a little bit, and then it will open up. And then to close it, you just kind of put it in position, and it has soft closed doors, so it'll kind of pull itself back in. And then to lock, you just kind of tap on the end there. It doesn't seem to want to do it for me on the passenger side, but anyway, that's kind of how it works. Okay, we'll start around here at the trunk. So this is the key for this car. So go ahead and press this, and it just pops up a little bit. Now there's some stuff in this car. It's been being driven. So anyway, starting in the back here, and pretty nice big trunk for a car like this. Different tie downs and straps and things. Then here at the back you have a toolkit and a kind of a storage compartment there. Whoops. And then behind that there's a pretty big size, a good sized battery there. Some different wires going back and forth. You have a locking button up here on the trunk. And we'll go ahead and close that. Yeah, I just absolutely like the styling on this car. It's just great. I also am a big fan of the tinted windows. I think you kind of do need tinted windows on a vehicle like this if you're going to drive it the way that it's meant to be driven. All right, we'll go ahead and open it up. Let's take a look under the hood next. So this vehicle, like I said, many different engine configurations. This vehicle has the N63, which is a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 mated to an 8-speed automatic. It's just absolutely huge. This engine bay is pretty full. Not a lot of working room here, but yeah, looks great. Everything's nice and clean and in very good shape. I love the attention to detail on these cars. I mean, look at just the latch assembly for the, for the hood. You have this latch here. Usually it's, kind of cheesy piece of metal. You have all that. And look at the latch here. You have these little struts to support everything, all the springs, all the cables. I mean, wow. So again, just absolutely beautiful. Just look at all the detail with the headlamps. Just a beautiful front end. Many sensors and stuff, as if I haven't mentioned already. Okay, we'll take a look in the back first. So there's a little handle you can lift up here. And then typical BMW stuff, you have the control here that will move the seat forward. All right, so starting in the rear seat, you have, pretty decent sized seats back here, just seating for two. You have nice wood trim, there's speakers, pretty decent headroom, nice Alcantara headliner. There's also a sunshade in the back. You have hooks for clothes, if you can see them here. Again, we're filming in the sun, which is just not great. You can see all the dirt, everything. Anyway, all right, we'll go ahead and move the seat back if I can get it to go. There it is. It is actually a really big, heavy seat. Okay, so look at all the adjustments here. You have This adjustment here on the front is absolutely cushioned, extremely soft. He also has these pillows in here as well. We've got a plane overhead. Many different adjustments for this seat. You have, I mean, just look at all the switches here. So this one here will do will kind of like extend the cushion. You have your memory and setting buttons there, and you can adjust the rear seat up and down, backwards and forwards. The seat rest will go, or the backrest I should say, goes back and forth. You also have different adjustments here for the top of the seat, and then there's the lumbar support here, and then you can move that up and down all around. With this one here, there's airbags in the side. Just a little bit of wear here on the bolster. Other than that, there's pretty much no wear in the car at all. Nothing scratched, none of the wood is cracked, all the glass is in great shape, the dash looks great. So I mean, and talk about leather, I mean, everything's covered in leather in this car. The entire door panel at the top is leather. You have nice vinyl on the bottom, soft touch vinyl, beautiful wood trim. So many different, again, this car is just so full of features, absolutely beautiful. You have all your mirror adjustments here. You have your window controls. This button here will run the rear sunshade up. Let's take a look at that. Here, it's keyless entry, so just put your foot on the brake, press the start-stop button, everything comes to life. I'm going to turn the volume down and get the AC turned up a little bit. Okay, so this button here should run the sunshade. So if we look in the rear view mirror here, and there it goes, so you can keep your rear seat passengers nice and cool. There it goes. I have to I'm going to turn this fan speed down. It's on automatic. I'm going to figure out how to turn this off. Nope, now it went off altogether. Okay, we'll just try that. So back to what I was saying, you can go ahead and close the sunshade there with the switch. And then it will also roll back. And you can press up, it'll tilt up there. And I'll actually go ahead and close all that. There it goes. Okay, again, nice Alcantara headliner here. Everything's in nice shape. You have your SOS switch here. Your airbag light, all your light controls are up here. There's HomeLink on the mirror. You have a light and the mirrors here as well. One interesting thing to note is on this side you have this kind of grab handle here that goes up to the top of the door panel, and then there's just the one window switch. Obviously there's going to be more switches on the driver's side. There's no handle, you just kind of have this grab pull here. That's kind of cool. I'll try to start with the least interesting things and then go to the most interesting. But the first thing just to notice is the entire dashboard is leather. It's absolutely beautiful. There's actually a heads-up display here, which we'll see then once we get on the road. So you have all your iDrive and infotainment controls here. This is kind of the same, typical BMW stuff. You can scroll through to everything that you need to get to. Everything works very well. You have all your shortcut buttons down here. It just works really, really well. Let's go to the radio. You can go through to everything you want to do. This does have HD radio. Anyway, you can mess with that later. There's actually an ashtray right down here. Just press this button and that flips up. And there's a locking console. So you can press this and that opens up. You can see there would be a phone handset there. There's USB, auxiliary, and also a 12-volt charging port there. And there's also a button to lock out the opening of the trunk from inside the vehicle. Typical shifter here for BMW. So you put your foot on the brake, and then it's back for drive, forward for reverse, and then you just press there for park, and then over to the side for manual and sport. So this one also does have an electronic parking brake, and this button here, which will automatically hold the vehicle in place if you're on a hill. It'll keep it from rolling back or forward. You have your parking sensor defeat here. This button's kind of cool. If you press this, it'll bring up. So now, here, let me clear this out because I had it in reverse, so the backup camera is still up. But if I go back out of that, okay, if you press this button, it'll actually bring up a camera view on either side of the vehicle. So that's kind of cool. Press it again and it goes away. And if you go into reverse, you do have, this is kind of hard to see on the screen, but you do have trajectory and then also parking, park distance sensors for the front and back. So very cool. That works really well. So we'll take it back to park there and get rid of that. You have your traction control here, different drive modes. So if you go through this car has an adaptive suspension, so it'll change the suspension and the transmission and kind of just optimize everything for whichever mode you're in. We'll put it in Comfort Plus for now. You have all your climate controls down here, so you can select where the air comes out of the dash at. You have heated seats, ventilated seats, all the different settings that you'd expect. CD player right here in the dash. Here's your volume knob, your lock buttons here, hazards up here, nice big screen. Moving on to the other side here, we have all your lamp controls over here, fog lamps, automatic. You can override all those. Here are all the safety sensors. There's lane departure warning, I don't know, all the ones, forward collision alert, all the stuff that you'd expect on a car like this. On the steering wheel, you have cruise control buttons on the left. There's paddle shifters, and you have your stereo controls on this side. On this side, if you press at the end of this stalk, this will cycle through different settings, or not settings, but different displays there. And then this one's for your automatic lamps, or high beams, I should say. So we'll bring that back to, I have it back on the date there. Nice LCD display. I'm sure all this is configurable. Fuel and speedometer on the left, tachometer and engine oil temperature on the right. Very nice stuff. Very beautiful. It's very easy to read. Looks great. Looks high end. Excellent. There are so many features and things in this vehicle. I'm bound to miss a few. One thing that I did find interesting in the iDrive that I haven't seen in other iDrive vehicles is this one that says Office. If you go in, you can there's contacts, which I'm not sure if that pulls from the phone or not. And then you also have this notes. You can actually make voice recordings, which is kind of interesting. In the center gauges, watch the tachometer as you rev the engine. It'll actually react, which I find pretty cool. And the BMW swing gauge is kind of changed for this. You see the battery icon to the left. This will actually recover kinetic energy and recharge the batteries. So apparently this car can be pretty economical too. I mean, as economical as a twin turbo V8 can be. It's not about economy, but every little bit helps. And with a car like this, I think it's more about just making something that's practical to drive every day rather than just a couple times a week or even less. All right, let's take this out on the road and give it a drive. So I haven't left yet. I just want to display this first feature here, which is the auto hold. So if you watch, it's holding itself. I'm on a little incline here, but if I accelerate, it'll open up and go. But then if I brake and come to a stop, it'll stop, and then look, my foot's off the brake, and it's stopped. And actually the engine's off as well. Auto start stop is started. So I put my foot on the brake, the engine starts, the brake releases, and we go. It's pretty quick. Now I have to start off the test drive by saying, this vehicle has 444 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. I can't exactly test it in my neighborhood. So also, I don't really have that much to compare it to. There's the E63 that I drove a while back, but other than that, nothing really that I have makes even close to that much power. I mean, it's a far cry from the 110 horsepower Saab 900 that I did a video on a while back. So, I'll try to do my best, but for right now, it's just kind of in comfort mode. I kind of have to drive for a while to get out of the neighborhood here, but we'll get there. Everything is just extremely comfortable. Everything falls right to hand. Everything's easy to use. I love the iDrive control system. As soon as I got in this vehicle, just figuring out how everything works just is a breeze. I hate getting in vehicles and then you have to figure out, it takes 10-15 seconds to figure out how to turn the wipers on and how to turn the lamps on, and you drive around, you don't know if you have the lamps on, and then it's just a pain. Stuff like this that handles all that for you and is easy to figure out is just so excellent. I'm not sure if any of this comes across on camera, but it's extremely quiet in this vehicle right now. All I can hear is the tires on the road just a little bit. I can barely hear vehicles outside. The fan is nice and quiet. There's no squeaks or rattles. It's just excellent. While I'm killing time driving, if I can be allowed a personal comment, I have to say, I've followed this vehicle a lot when it came out, especially the 2014, and a lot of vehicles that I end up driving that are used or basically not new. You drive them and you realize they're not that great, and if they weren't to begin with, they aren't by the time that I get my hands on them. This is the total opposite of that. This is better than I imagined. We'll do a little acceleration test. I've switched the vehicle into Sport Plus and moved the transmission over into Sport mode, so let's just see. So in typical BMW fashion, changing the drive mode changes everything. The first thing you see is that the gauges changed to red, which is awesome. It's just so reactive. I mean, every input is just immediate. The paddle shifter, the transmission shift lever, everything you use is just direct, instantaneous, totally the opposite of like a Mercedes, for example, especially the early ones. This is just incredible. It holds to the road so well. It pulls like a freight train. It feels like it's on rails. This is a lot better than the E63 right off the bat. I mean, the power feels to me about the same, although, you know, it's been a while, so I don't know. But take that with a grain of salt. But it does have a lot more traction, and you know, just gets off the line a lot better, that's for sure. And of course, I guess this vehicle is 7 years newer, so it does have that going for it. Sound. The braking is also excellent, so I mean, it handles, brakes, accelerates, everything just as a BMW should. The hardest part for me of doing a video like this is that I don't have a way to properly display the full potential of this vehicle. I don't have enough road. I don't have a place to do it safely. It just doesn't work real well, but you know, for what it is. Only do little blips like that before it's just, you know, I'm already going way too fast. So that's all I can do. I'm sorry, but that is it. But you know, this car, it's just so impressive. You could really drive this so much of the time with, you know, without really having to make any compromises. It seems to be pretty economical. It's extremely comfortable. The performance is great. It really does tick all the boxes. You know, these were of course quite expensive when new, but you know, so much is, but especially used, what a bargain. So very cool. All right, well, I'm going to enjoy taking this for a little bit of drive and then returning it and picking up my car, which is probably going to feel slow after this, even though it isn't that slow. But anyway, all right, thank you everyone. Thanks for watching. Hopefully not so long next time before another video. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. All right, thanks and take care.